السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونتوب إليه، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله الأحد الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. All praise is due to Allah. We praise Him, we seek His aid and His forgiveness. We seek refuge in Allah from the evil within our own selves and from the bad outcome of our evil actions. That whomsoever Allah guides, that there is no one who can lead that person astray. That whomsoever Allah allows to be left astray, that there is no guide for that person. I bear witness that there is no God worthy of worship except Allah in truth. And I further testify that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His final prophet and messenger sent to humanity. O you who believe, be aware of Allah as you should be, and do not die except that you are Muslims. And O mankind, for your Lord who has created you from a single soul. And from that soul, He has created its mate. And from them both, He has created multitudes of men and women. So fear Allah, through whom you demand your mutual rights. And do not cut off the ties of kinship, for verily Allah is an all-watcher over you. And O who you believe, be aware of Allah and speak a word that's always truthful and straight to the point. Allah will direct you to do righteous good deeds, and He will forgive you of your sins. Whomsoever obeys Allah and His Messenger until the last day, then verily they have achieved a great accomplishment. As to what follows, then I remind everyone here that for Yawm al-Jum'ah, sometimes we come to listen to things that are new to us, but many times it's something that is a reminder for us. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the Quran, فَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَى تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, to remind, for verily the reminder benefits the believer. So today's khutbah, inshallah ta'ala, I have a reminder for myself first and foremost, and for everyone here. In today's time, we have a great issue that pretty much has befallen upon every single one of us. And that problem that we have is social media. Social media is something that's great. It's brought about a lot of greatness. However, on an individual level, it has done more harm to us as people than it has done for us good. Mark my words when I say that as an individual, it does more harm to you, or it does more harm to us, than it does good for us. But in general, on a wide spectrum, social media is something that is great, that has come to this generation of ours. But even though it's something that is great, and it has its problems, there are certain points that I would like to mention today to you all about the negative effects that social media has taken upon one's Islam, upon your mind, and even upon your health. So the very first one that I want to mention today, my brothers and sisters in Islam, is that social media is one of the main causes of depression in our time today. Many a times that this social media, that when we use it, when we go on it, we look for things. It does nothing but actually depresses or causes depression to a person. There was a research that was done by Microsoft. They surveyed about 476 people. In another survey, they did 700 people. They analyzed their patterns of how they use social media and different things that they did while they were on there. And in their research, they came across that many people out of these 700 people that they surveyed, that at some point in time in their messages and their posts and in their timeline, they had some sort of depressive statements or some sort of very down statements that they talked about or that they reposted from either others or themselves. Because a lot of the times when we go on these platforms, we post things about our life, that maybe something's not going right, something's going wrong in our life, and we think that the whole world, by plastering it to the world, is going to bring about some sort of benefit. But I can guarantee you, when you do that, it does nothing for you. You just merely put all of your information and all of your business out there, and nothing happens. And so after time goes on and on and on, and we build this anxiety and this depression that we have from using these social media accounts, social media platforms. Then we go to doctors and we try and figure out, why are we so depressed? Why do we have so many problems? Why do we have this hyper anxiety that maybe you didn't have before? Why is it so difficult for you to get up and do things and be productive? Did you ever think that maybe the main cause or one of the causes of your depression could very well be that device that's in your pocket almost 24/7? Did you ever think that that device that you turn to for good and bad could have been the cause of could be the cause of your depression? That happens with a lot of us, and it causes the main cause of a lot of our depression. The very second thing that happens on social media, whether you're young, whether you're old, whether you're Arab, whether you're not, is that all of us at some point probably have done some type of cyberbullying. A lot of the times this is referred to when we're talking to adolescents or children who are in school. But cyberbullying and talking about people on these platforms is so widespread amongst us that almost everybody does it. Have you ever opened your phone and left a post on something that you thought was funny, and you replied to it with something negative? Someone says something on there and you reply with your negative connotations or comments, and you have no clue how that's going to affect the person on the other side of that screen. You have no clue what sort of effect that you're going to have on a person. And it primarily and a lot of times happens with teenagers and adolescents, young adults. They bully, they talk about, they make fun of, they play games with people on these platforms, and they have no clue how much harm they're causing others because of some small statement that they may have made. Unfortunately, because we use social media so much and we're so attached to it, when someone says the slightest thing on there about you or to you, you become hypersensitive to whatever it is they've said, and it can have a greater effect on you sometimes than what someone right in front of you might say. And this is where this cyberbullying, where it's gotten us to. So when you're reminding your children not to do it, also remind yourself not to do it as well. Don't you know that the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir, falyaqul khayran aw liyasmut." Whoever believes in Allah in the last day, then let him say something good or remain silent. If you have nothing good to say about someone, if you have nothing positive to say, sometimes it's better for you to remain silent. There's wisdom behind that statement of the Prophet ﷺ. And it doesn't just go for when you're in front of people, but also behind the computer screen as well. If you have nothing good to say to your brother, if you have nothing positive to say to your sister, then just let it go. Sometimes it's better for you to leave it alone, because you could cause more harm than you could good sometimes. Another thing that's happened to us when it comes to this social media is that we have a fear that we are missing out. We have this fear that when we don't pick up our phone and look up our timelines and look down our feeds, that we're going to miss out on something important. So much so that we're more concerned with other people's lives rather than your own life sometimes. When you wake up in the morning, you're more likely to pick your phone up to look at what the world is doing before you take care of your own hygiene. Before you get up to pray to Allah Azza wa Jalla in the morning, the very first thing that you do after turning off your alarm clock is you pick your phone up to look to see what the world is talking about, or whatever other alerts that you may have on your phone. More concerned with the dunya, more concerned with other people, more so than your own self and what's going on with you and your situation at that time. When you don't have the cellular device with you, or your iPad, or your Android tablet, and you can't look to see what's going on around you, you start to go into this panic attack because you don't know, I need to know what's going on with the world, what's going on out there. And you start to become, as they say, addicted to this social media and cause more harm or do more harm to yourself than good sometimes. Don't you know that the Prophet ﷺ, he's given us a very, very good piece of advice. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Min husni Islam al-mar'i tarkuhu ma la ya'ni." That from the good characteristics of a Muslim and his Islam is that he leaves off things that do not concern him. But many of us are too concerned with what other people are going through, what other people are into. And then it leads to my next point. While we're worried about other people and what they're getting into, it causes us to fall into much riba and much namima, much backbiting and much tale-carrying. And wallahi, a lot of us do this on a daily basis, and we don't even think about it anymore. We carry rumors on social media. We talk about people on social media. We laugh at people on social media. All of the time, we like photos or dislike photos or comments based off of something that someone may have said negative about another person. All of these things are tale-carrying and backbiting. You take a post that you see, you don't know if it's even true, and you spread it and you share it, and you don't know if it's true or not. And we've become so desensitized to our backbiting and our tale carrying that now when we find out that something's a rumor on these social media platforms, we don't even think that it's bad anymore. We just say, oops, next. Oh, I'm sorry, I accidentally put that there. And you have no remorse in your heart for what you may have done to that person. You have no concern for how much harm or what you have done to that person. You have no consideration or no thought of the sin that you're incurring. Don't you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's made a comparison to the one who backbites. It's almost like you're going behind your brother's back and you're trying to eat him alive. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala compares backbiting. But we don't care about it anymore. It's become a normal thing to us. And someone may say, oh, well, I don't do it in person. I don't do it to your face, and I just click a like. It's not actually my words. You're spreading that evil when you could make a choice not to. Another thing that our social media accounts and social media has done to us is it's begun to make us people who have unrealistic expectations of life. Unrealistic expectations of life. So many of us go on here and we see what everyone else is about, what everyone else is doing, how everyone else is living their life, and we think that that is how life should be. And we forget that these people are content creators, YouTubers, Facebookers, Snapchatters, whatever you want to call them. They're content creators. They make things for you to like them. They don't usually put things there for you not to like them so that they can gain followers. And so you look at this stuff and you say, man, this is something that I want to do in my life. This is how my life should be. And you want to cookie cut your life into being just like theirs. And many times, and more times than not, you fail. Or we fail. Because we're trying to do something that's unrealistic. We're trying to get that perfect look that we saw this guy or this woman have on social media because we think that that's how we should look. And you fail. And then you become depressed because you can't look like that, or you can't be like that, or you want to have that car, or that house, or that lifestyle when that's not your caliber of living. And to be quite honest with you, most of the time it's not their caliber and their social status either. But it's only for content creating. Social media is more harmful upon people than even Hollywood movies now, because people know Hollywood is not real. But social media, it's very hard to decipher between what's real and what's not. And so it gives us these unrealistic expectations. People go and they change their bodies, distort the creation of Allah Ta'ala because they want to look like a certain person online. Because they're unpleased with what Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has given to them. Don't you know that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has said, the curse of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is upon the one who changes the creation of Allah. We're not talking about someone who has a defect that needs changed, but someone who is perfectly fine and he or she goes and they get plastic surgery done to alter their body, to look like a certain person. The curse of Allah is upon these individuals. You really want to gamble with the la'an of Allah. You really want to gamble with the curse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon you. This is something that is widespread, more so than for men than for our women. There is a survey, there is a statistic that has proven over in 2018, a million something odd men got plastic surgery done versus the 15 million women who got plastic surgery done in the year of 2018. This is an epidemic. This is a problem that has become upon a lot of people because they are uncontent with how they look and what Allah has given them because of how much emphasis they put on desiring what other people have. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the Quran, referring to Shaitan, a statement that he made. Shaitan, he says in the Quran, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to Shaitan in the Quran by him saying that they desire Whether it be evil or good, I'm going to make it something that they desire. And then later on in the ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says again a statement of shaitan where He states, وَلَأُمَنِّيَنَّهُمْ وَلَآمُرَنَّهُمْ فَلَيُغَيِّرُنَّ خَلْقَ اللَّهِ. That I will command them to do something. And when I command them to do it, they will do it, and they will also distort the creation of Allah, or they will change the creation of Allah. This is something that shaitan does. Shaitan is capturing our minds. Shaitan is playing, toiling with our hearts. And all of us are just following into this battle, or falling into this trap of shaitan. وَمَنْ يَتَّخِذِ الشَّيْطَانَ وَلِيًّا فَقَدْ خَسِرَ خُسْرَانًا مُبِينًا. And whoever takes shaitan as a partner other than Allah, then they have truly erred tremendously. So don't fall into this trap of shaitan. Be pleased with that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, and be happy for it. And thank Allah for what He's given you, and look around you and look at those who don't have that which you have. There's a dua that the Prophet ﷺ used to say when he saw people who were in a state worse than him. He used to say, "Oh Allah, I praise you. Alhamdulillah alladhi abtalahu bih. Alhamdulillah alladhi afani min abtalahu bih." That Alhamdulillah, all praise is due to the one who has protected me from that, or saved me from that which you have tried him with. Make that dua and be happy for that which Allah has given you, because you could be in a lot worse of a situation. أقول ما تسمعون وأستغفر الله لي ولكم من كل ذنب إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم وبعد. Another great problem that social media has brought for many of us is many of us have gone into this era where we believe that when someone says something to you, or a Muslim reminds you of something, that we believe that a Muslim is judging us because of something that we do or something that we have on. You have sisters who will say, "This woman is judging me because I don't wear my hijab. Allah is the one who is in control and judges me." A brother might say, this brother is ridiculing me and judging me behind the sort of pants that I'm wearing. They're too tight for prayer, and he's coming and he's telling me about my appearance. Brother, you should leave me alone and don't judge me. I'll leave Allah to be the one who judges. And you get sick and tired of hearing people judge you for whom you are. Let me tell you something. When you go on social media, when you go on Snapchat and you put pictures there, and you put them up there for people to see, and when people don't like your pictures or your post, you begin to run amok and become crazy because you're wondering what's wrong with you. You not only have let this particular set of people, whomever they are, judge you, but you're letting shaitan also judge you, and you're opening your life up to the world to judge you. So when you get upset because that one Muslim is trying to remind you to do something proper for the sake of Allah, don't forget that when you post your picture online, you're also looking for people to judge you as well. You're also looking for the world to give you the okay for what you're doing. How many times do you pick up your phone and you snap a picture, and when no one says something about it, you feel like you've done something wrong? Or the moment someone says something to you in person, "Hey, you need to fix this," you say, "Oh, I don't need to fix that. Don't judge me, brother." But you put it online, and then someone that you don't know, a random individual that you don't know, Jack 52, you don't know if you see this person in real life, you don't know who they are, and they leave a negative comment on your platform, then you feel like, "Oh, I need to change this." You're letting people that don't even care about you judge you. Did you ever think about that? When you get upset when a Muslim reminds you, inshallah ta'ala, for the sake of Allah, to get your act right, did you ever think of that? So remember that when you go on these platforms, you're allowing not only shaitan but the rest of the world to judge you as well for your actions. Then there's one more thing that we allow our media accounts, social media accounts, to do to us. We allow them to come and interfere with our obligations to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And a very, very big one is we miss Fajr. We miss Salatul Fajr because we're up, scrolling down our timelines until the twilight of the night, until the very last parts of the night, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then we decide to go to sleep, and then we miss Fajr. And we say, oh, well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, rufi al-qalam ala thalath, He's risen, or the pen has been risen on from 3 people. And from them the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, an-na'im hatta yastayqad. Then from the person who is sleeping until he awakens, or until he wakes up. We say, okay, so I'm forgiven from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That this hadith is for the person who does it and is not in his control. You have a choice to go to sleep early at nighttime if you wanted to. But you choose to look at foolery on Snapchat until odd nights or odd times of the night, and then you can't wake up for prayer. That is your fault. And this person here that does this person is adhi. This person is sinful. Be aware of what you do. Some of the things that we do are not accepted. Some of these actions that we do are not accepted by Allah. And you use a hadith like this to try and counter your what you're doing, and you think that it's okay. No, that's not the case, my brother and sister in Islam. Set your alarm clock, go to sleep. If you need to check your phone, check it when you wake up. If you want to look through something on your phone, then check it when you wake up. If that's going to be a means of you to wake up earlier for prayer, or wake up on time for salah, then that's what you need to do. But don't let this phone or your iPad or whatever other device you have be your little prison. Be your little prison. Don't allow it to be that. There's another thing that I want to mention to everyone before in closing. For depression, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was a hadith, there's a dua that he used to make. And this dua that he used to make for depression and anxiety is one that all of these affairs that we have of social media, all of them tie back into this one hadith or one dua. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to say, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-hammi wal hazan. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you, or I seek your refuge from anxiety and depression. Social media causes a lot of that. Wal ajzi wal kasal. And I also seek refuge in you from being lazy and unproductive. How many of us, we're so unproductive because we just use our phones all the time. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he said, وَمِنَ الْجُبْنِ وَالْبُخْلِ, and from cowardice and misery. You have people who are screen warriors online. They are these powerful individuals that will tell and talk to you and talk down on you and tell you what you need to do and talk bad about you behind the screen. But in the presence of that person, when they're face to face with you, you can huff and puff and blow his situation away because he has no backbone. Or for in more simplistic words, he can't stand to what he said online. These are the sorts of people that are behind these screens that think that they're powerful. And the Prophet ﷺ, he asked Allah's refuge, he sought Allah's refuge from being from those sorts of people who were cowardly and miserly or stingy. And then lastly, the Prophet ﷺ, he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect him from ضَرْعَ الْيَدَيْنِ غَلَبَةُ الرِّجَالِ, to protect him from being overly engulfed in debt and being overpowered by men. Many of us are overpowered on our social media accounts by people because we let them judge, we let them control who we are going to be. And you don't take control of yourself. This is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that can be useful to us today, that was made or that was said more than 1400 years ago. It can still be productive for us today. But how many of us actually know this dua? How many of us actually take this simple dua and make it every day and ask Allah to help us with our depression and anxiety and our cowardliness and on our cowardice and all different things that we have? Remember to make this dua, and if you don't know it, then you can simply go to the dua books, Husnul Muslim or Fortress of the Muslim, and look for the hadith, or the dua of anxiety, and you'll find it there, depression. It's there. Take it, memorize it. Say it every day when you wake up. Say it before you go to sleep. Say it throughout your day when you start feeling down, besides picking up your phone to look for a solution, because it's not always going to be there. So I challenge everybody here in closing. I challenge everyone here to take some time in your day where you don't pick up your phone. And if you don't believe that you are addicted to your phone, then I ask you one question. If your Snapchat account were to be closed today, and your Facebook account closed today, by coincidence, you had no control over it, will you be okay? Or will you lose your mind? Will you lose your mind if all of those pictures you put on Instagram just poof, went away, and you have nothing, you can't find them? I know I'm sure a lot of us will lose our minds. We'd be calling Instagram up on the phone right now and telling them we're getting the next thing that's smoking, next thing flying to their headquarters to find out what happened to our stuff. So I advise everyone that if you fall into that category, that you need to reevaluate your connection with your phone. You need to reevaluate your connection with Allah. And you need to try and fix this problem that we have of addiction to social media. Because wallahi, it has caused a great problem for many of us. So much so that it has statistically been proven that social media is more addictive now to people than even drugs. Because it's free, everyone can get it, there's no penalty for using it, and it's readily available 24/7 right beside your bed. So take that into consideration, ya ikhwani wa akhawati fillah. يا عباد الله إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تحول به بيننا وبين معصيتك ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا به جنتك ومن اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصائب الدنيا ومتعنا اللهم بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقوتنا ما أبقيتنا واجعله الوارث منا واجعل ثأرنا على من ظلمنا ولا تجعل مصيبتنا في ديننا ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا ولا إلى النار مصيرنا واجعل الجنة هي دارنا وقرارنا عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروا الله يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون وأقيموا الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Straighten your rows and fill in your gaps and don't leave any space between you and your brother. Please fill in the front row or filling in the one behind you. And please be sure your cell phones are off or place them on vibrate. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى الذي سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. هل أتاك حديث الغاشية وجوه يومئذ خاشعة عاملة ناصبة تصلى نارا حامية تسقى من عين آنية ليس لهم طعام إلا من ضريع لا يسمن ولا يغني من جوع وجوه يومئذ ناعمة لسعيها راضية في جنة عالية لا تسمع فيها لاغية فيها عين جارية فيها سرر مرفوعة وأكواب موضوعة ونمارق مصفوفة وزرابي مبثوثة أفلا ينظرون إلى الإبل كيف خلقت وإلى السماء كيف رفعت وإلى الجبال كيف نصبت وإلى الأرض كيف سطحت فذكر إنما أنت مذكر لست عليهم بمسيطر إلا من تولى وكفر فيعذبه الله العذاب الأكبر إن إلينا إيابهم ثم